So the next text we're going to deal with is Seneca's Letters from a Stoic. And we'll deal with this in Module 2, and in Module 3, we're going to look at this text from sort of two different angles. So I will talk a little bit about what the good life means for Seneca and the Stoics, and then in Module 3 we'll talk about what death signifies to them. I'll say a little bit about death in this set of lectures, but we'll focus on that a little later. So the first thing to mention is Stoicism and what it is. So it's a Roman school of philosophy founded by a guy named Zeno of Citium, who lived from 333 to 264 BCE. But although Zeno's the founder, we don't have a lot of his writings, and it's actually Seneca who gives us sort of the most well articulated version of Stoicism. He also serves to make it really popular in the Roman Empire. Another prominent Stoic thinker, if you've ever heard of him, is Marcus Aurelius, who's a little bit after Seneca. Seneca was born in the year 4 BCE. He dies in 65 AD. His father is pretty famous. His name is Marcus Annaeus Seneca, and he's a prominent rhetorician in Cordoba, which is in the Spanish part of the Roman Empire. So because his father is really involved in politics and stuff, the younger Seneca gets involved in Roman politics too, and he's eventually one of the leading speakers of the Roman Senate. So he rises to power pretty quickly, and he actually draws the attention of the young Roman Emperor Nero, and Nero hires him to be a tutor for him. So Seneca writes all of his speeches and stuff like that, and he becomes basically an advisor to the young Roman emperor, advising him on, leadership matters and stuff like that. So Seneca enjoys this really powerful role in the Roman court. We'll talk more about Nero in the next set of lectures, because there's something kind of shady going on there. Basically, Nero forces Seneca to kill himself, but we'll talk about that later. Now, I just want to say a few words about Stoicism, and then we'll look at Stoicism in Seneca's text. So, the Stoics, more than anybody before them, really, in Western philosophy, truly see the world as this community. A community made up of brothers, basically, where we're all connected to each other, we're all the same, and we're governed by a supreme force. Now, here's the thing: the supreme force itself can be characterized in any number of ways. The early Christians are really fond of Seneca because they think that he's talking about God with a capital G. He isn't, but he does have some kind of idea that's like God. So I'll talk more about this in a minute, but the supreme force that governs the universe is sort of more than just the idea of God, but it's also like nature and spirit and fate and destiny. So it's definitely easy to see why the early Christians are so interested in Seneca's philosophy, because it fits in really well with monotheism. If you have this idea of the universe being governed by the supreme force, but Seneca and a lot of the Stoics don't think of it as just like the monotheistic God. But the real point to take away from all this is that humans are actually not in control of their own destiny, and they have really limited control over their actions because fate reigns supreme. The Stoics believe that the purpose in life for humans is to live in conformity with nature and that divine will that we just talked about. And there are actually two parts of this. So first and foremost, it means to bring one's own life into line with the laws of nature. And second, it has to do with resigning yourself completely to fate. Whatever happens to you, you just accept it as your fate and you don't complain about it. And that is what it means to live in conformity with nature, to accept your fate. If man accepts his fate and lives in conformity with nature and the divine will, that's the biggest part of it. But there's also another part which says that you're not supposed to set a really high value on material possessions. So another piece of Stoicism is this kind of rejection of the material world, the rejection of, stuff to make you happy, like cars and big screen TVs and stuff like that. So accepting your fate and rejecting material possessions can lead you to discover real, true inner peace. And so that is sort of Stoicism writ large. I guess I'll stop this one here, and then I'll talk about what it means to live in conformity with nature in the next set.